Welcome, everybody. This is Sherman Ray, and this is the Black Success Magazine podcast. It's midweek. I want to welcome you all here to sunny Las Vegas. Yeah, we are like the middle of the universe right now. And all eyes are on Las Vegas right now, as many of you probably know. And sometimes it's not for a good reason, and hopefully, it'll change, But and I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute, but I want to thank you all for being a part of the show today. Today on the show, we're going to talk a little bit about mentoring, and most specifically about a life coach and how to pick a life coach, because I know a lot of people have been asking about that lately. As a matter of fact, when I was working during the day today, I was talking with somebody I had met maybe a year ago, and over the last year or so, they've been talking about how they've been having a coach that they've had to work with, and how everybody should. And I said, I forgot all about this, but I think it's a great idea. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about life coaches, and specifically how to find the right life coach. Yeah. So for some of you, this might be the first time you're ever even checking out the show. I'm Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, publisher, founder of the magazine, Black Success Magazine, and we're going on we just finished our 6th year, folks. 6 years. So we're going into our 7th year. Very excited about that. Next year, we're actually going to be doing the magazine with vigor, which means we're going to really go after putting the magazine out. We've done a season of it where we spent, put out quite a few issues of it. But like all things, you get busy. I went into the ministry, still in the ministry, and it just really felt like, I needed to work on this particular aspect of the ministry and we were helping another church with their launch. Now we're starting our own church, which I'm very excited about too, because that's what I'm into, guys. I'm into the Lord, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because we've all got our callings in life. But I along the way, I learned a lot about business, learned a lot about leadership. I'm a avid John Maxwell fan. As a matter of fact, I'll bring out some of my books at some point so I can show you all my John Maxwell stuff. And I love John Maxwell, love leadership, love success stories, that kind of stuff. And my wife and I, we led a group of business owners for about 5 years. So there were about 200 business owners that we led, a networking group. We did all kinds of stuff. We were actually called like the gurus of networking. I don't know why, but because really didn't do a lot of networking events, but we did do a lot of networking where we were leading business owners into networking. And at one point we had the Metro Chamber of Commerce, we had the Hispanic Chamber, we had the Rotary Club. We didn't have the Asian Chamber at our group, but we did have quite a few other chambers that were a part of our networking group, because they saw what we were doing. And we were speaking to district attorneys, we were talking to councilmen, we were talking to assemblymen. We had we had the who's who of Las Vegas in our networking group, and I was very excited about that. So they saw we were growing, so they became a part of our group. So that's where we're at now. That's my whole background. Anyways, so today we're going to talk about finding a life coach and what it's about. And this is a big one. This is really a pretty big subject that you've got to know about, because if you don't, it just, I don't know, it drives you crazy how people can get so mixed up in stuff and not really understand what they're doing. So let's take a real quick break here, folks, and I'll tell you about a couple of things that we're involved in. And we'll be back in just a second. Step Up Nevada, giving people a second chance at life. At Step Up Nevada, we are working with homeless people and helping them become the best that they can also be. Step Up Nevada go to stepupnv.org. And we are back, folks. It's Sherman Ray, and this is the Black Success Magazine podcast. I want to welcome you all back to the show. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about mentoring, and more specifically, we want to talk a little bit about finding a life coach. Well, what is a life coach? I mean, it's and I think that's probably more. Let's get to the brass tacks. What is a life coach? A life coach is somebody who helps you navigate life. Somebody who's almost, I don't know, akin to a mentor, but someone who's willing to step into your life, give you their life experiences, and help you through some of the pitfalls and some of the highs and lows of life. And some of them are better than others. Some of them can really rip you off. Unlike other mentoring classes of people or industries, life coaching is really very early, in early stages. I remember when life coaching started out probably 10 years ago, and then all of a sudden people became life coaches, and there became life coaching academies. And some of those academies could last all of a week to be certified to be a life coach, and some of them could last about a year. So you got to be very careful who you talk to, because anybody can call themselves a life coach, because it's not a regulated thing like it would be like you learn how to be a doctor or something like that, or a lawyer. So anybody can hang out a shingle and say, I'm a life coach. And, you're kind of taking a crop roll, roll the dice. Maybe they're good, maybe they're not. And it's a very subjective thing, because some people are very likable and they go, hey, I'm a life coach, and I burn incense, and I'll go to this place once a year. I take my group to this place once a year, and people love it. When they're really not doing anything, you might as well go to a bartender, right? Seriously, you just might as well go to a bartender. But there are some tips on finding a life coach. And that's what we want to talk about, is trying, because like I said, it is a very subjective thing right now. And it's not like you learning to be an electrician. By trade, I learned how to become an electrician. I went to 5 years of school, had to learn how to become an electrician, and then spent 15 years as an electrician. And so I am very well qualified to be an electrician. Whereas a life coach, you go to an academy and read a couple of books for, half a weekend, and they can call you a life coach. Also, mentoring, leadership principles. I've been doing this for 30 years, guys. 30 years of learning how to be a leader. What's the guy's name? I was going to mention a guy just now, a Jamaican guy. Oh, I'll remember in just a minute. Who's a great writer, and who said it takes 10,000 hours of you doing something for you to become an expert. And so I'm well aware, I've done well over 10,000 hours of leadership training and teaching people how to be a leader. So I'm really good at that stuff. And same thing with, success stories and product development, that kind of stuff. I've done well over 10,000 hours of that stuff. So I can be called an expert in those fields. And now I get to talk to you about life coaches. So let's talk about some things that we think are really important that you should look for in a life coach. One is somebody who's a deep listener. So why do we say a deep listener? Well, because a lot of people will tell you what they think. They meet you and they have you fill out a survey or something like that, and then they tell you, this is what I think you should do with your life. As opposed to, tell me about yourself. Tell me a little bit about you. Tell me a lot about you so I can get a really good idea of who you are. Not only that, A good listener not only has you tell them about yourself, but a deep listener is somebody who asks you how you feel about things. How did that affect you when you were growing up? How did this affect you when this thing happened in your life? Somebody who asks you deep probing questions is a deep listener. Somebody who doesn't just jump into the middle of the conversation to tell you what they think and go, "Oh, I already know what you do. Okay, I know what to do with your life." Okay, that's not a deep listener. A deep listener is somebody who really gets a good idea of who you are based upon questions they ask you. Who, what, where, when, why, how? How did you feel? Who were you a part of? What made you decide to do that? They want to get to know you in a deeper level, not just a superficial level. And a deep listener knows that they're not going to get everything in one sitting. You need somebody who's going to take their time on this. So for a life coach to come into your life, a good mark of that person is somebody who says, "Hey, this is going to take a little while for me to get to know you," because they need to get to know you because they're going to help you make decisions that are going to change your life. That's a life coach. Number 2, they're neutral. They're neutral people. They're neutrality. They don't have a set agenda, and they are not going to judge you. They're not. They're an outsider. They're a third party, just looking to look at your life as a neutral party. They're not judgmental. They're not going to judge you because of what you've done in life or who you've done or what decisions you've made, because that's not their job. My job as a life coach is not to judge you. My job is to help you get to the next level of where you're going to be. Number 3, accountability. A life coach who is going to hold you accountable is so much more effective, so much more will help you get to the next level if they hold you accountable. Because you're going to come up with a plan in life. You're going to come up with a plan of 5, 6 steps, 10 steps, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, or whatever it is. And they're going to have to hold you accountable to fulfill the things that you've agreed that you're going to do. They're not your buddy. I want to say that again. They are not your buddy. Your life coach should not be your best friend. "Hey, I'm going to put my arm around you, okay?" Because your best friend, no matter how good they are, is hesitant to tell you the truth. Sometimes the truth has to be told to you, and it's hard to hear from somebody who's your best buddy. But an accountability partner, somebody who says you've given permission to speak the truth in their life, that's a whole different thing. That person will tell you, "Hey, guess what? I need you to step back and take a look at this. I need you to take a step back and look at this." Let me give you an example. I recently spoke to somebody who I thought was, I thought the relationship we had was one of accountability. But when I actually went to that person and told them that I saw something happening in their life, that it did not line up with what this person told me they were offended by that. Not only were they offended, but they were offended to the point where they said, I don't want you to be a part of my life anymore. Because now, and so that relationship was not an accountability relationship. It was more like, I'm going to tell you what to do in life, even though I've said that we were going to be accountable to each other. You see what I'm saying? And your life partner, your life coach, has already set this up ahead of time. They've said, "Hey, guess what? This is our relationship. I'm going to hold you to certain standards because that's the only way you're going to get to move to the next level. I cannot allow you to stay in the rut you're in and be true to what I say I'm going to do." Does that make sense? So, a great life coach will hold you accountable. Another thing that you want to look for in a life coach is somebody who will set up a strategy for you to get to the next level. And what do we mean by that? Strategic thinking is it's a very tough thing for people to do, because in the midst of what you're doing in life, it's tough to take a step back and to look at your life as a chessboard. It's very tough to do that because you're in the midst of it. In the midst of it, you're just kind of like a duck, you know. You might look calm on the top of the water, but under the water, you're just paddling just to stay afloat. A good life coach is a strategic thinker, somebody who can take a step back, and they can say, "Oh, you're here right now. You're at point A now, but you want to get to point Z. In order for you to get to point Z, we have to do this. We have to do this. We have to do this." And along the way, we might have to make an adjustment. So let's make some room for error here, 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 and here. Because in order to get to Z, you're going to need to fill in all of this in between. That's strategic thinking. When my wife and I were working with our business owners for it was a 5-year period of time. One of the things that we did is we would plan with them. We would continue to work with them on goals. We would help them work on strategies. We would work with them on business plans. And when we were ready to open up our own restaurant, because at the time we were my wife's been an interior designer for many, many years, and I really felt like we really should open up a restaurant. We opened up, we developed a 26-week plan, and I probably told this before, on how to open up a restaurant. And based upon this 26-week plan, we would start week 1. All in week 1, I had to do certain tasks to have these done by the end of the week. Week 2, a bunch of tasks to do, end of week 2. And I did that for 26 weeks. And in the end of 26 weeks, if I had done all of these tasks, at the end of 26 weeks, I'm going to open my restaurant. Right? Sounds simple enough, right? And it is. It's very simple. That's exactly the way you do it. I did an Excel spreadsheet, and the Excel spreadsheet took me from point A to point Z. And all I had to do was hit these goals all the way down, and then at the end of 26 weeks, I would open up my restaurant. And you guys, guess what? That's right. It worked. It really did. So let's take a real quick break, folks. We'll finish this up. We're talking about how to choose a life coach on the Black Success Magazine podcast. I'm Sherman Ray, publisher of Black Success Magazine. We'll be back in just a second. This is Sherman, Black Success Magazine podcast. Thank you all for being a part of the show today. I was during the break, I had somebody send me a note. I was kind of reading it as I was kind of waiting to come back on the show, and they were saying, "Sherman, we'd like to hear more from you during the week." And I said, it's a great idea. So, folks, if you would like to hear some words of wisdom from me during the week, you can go to our website at blacksuccessmagazine.com. That's blacksuccessmagazine.com. And on that website, tons of stuff there. Articles, our podcast is on there. And most importantly, if you'd like to get on our mailing list, Go on there and you can do it, or you can just send me an email at blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com. That's blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com, and we'll get back with you, and we'll get you on our mailing list, and we'll start. We're going to start that in January, so don't worry, folks. Don't be upset that you haven't heard from me. We will get that out. I'm very excited about this, folks. It's so I love sharing the things I know, and sharing the things that they make people better. I'm one of those guys who believes if you're just goofy enough to believe me, folks, you'd really be surprised how successful you really can be in life. It doesn't take that much, and it's very easy. Today we're talking about how to choose a life coach, and as I said, one of the things that you've really got to be very careful about is that a life coach, the life coaching industry is very, very kind of sketchy. I hate to say it that way, but that's kind of the way it is. People sometimes will say, hey, I'm a life coach, and they've never even been in your particular area of expertise. So I think, and we've not even brought that up, but this is really important. Pick a life coach that actually has been a part of the industry that you are in. Okay? Don't pick somebody who's a chef when you're trying to be an electrician. Or don't pick somebody who is an electrician when you want to be you want work being consultant someplace. Okay, those things just don't mix. So find somebody who's in the area that you're in. Somebody who's got a little bit of experience in it. Some industries are the skill set is very transferable. So you can, if you're a leader, guess what? Leaders are leaders. Whether you put them in a corporate situation over IBM or you put them in a car company, some of those things are just you can transfer those. But some of them you can't. Some of them are just not. I'm an artist, so you want to put them over a car company. It's probably not going to work. Now you might be able to put them in your division where your cars are at, so they can help you give you paint, that kind of thing, paint colors, or it might be even styling things. But some of them are not going to be able. So, as we said in the beginning, the life coaching industry is still fairly new, and there are certifications for life coaches, but some of them could be like a weekend at Bernie's, and some of them can be like a year. And so that's the problem we have, is that it's not a standardized thing. Hey, I went to life coaching for 4 years, and that all life coaches who are reputable have to go to school for 4 years. Okay, it just is not that. So be very careful. So we were talking about how to find a life coach, and to be some things you might want to look for. Let's we're going to give just a couple more because we're going to end, folks. A good life coach is somebody who will help you set goals for your life. This is super important, and because goal setting, and many of you probably heard a lot of videos, probably heard a lot of lectures on goal setting, and some are good, some are not. I am a very good goal setter, folks, and because I've had to a lot. I mean, I've been in a lot of experiences over like the last 40 years of my life, and had to set a lot of goals, or I wouldn't get them done. So, a good life coach will help you set goals, short, medium, long range goals, goals that will help you get motivated, goals that will help you create momentum, that kind of stuff. Goals that are simple, goals that are achievable, goals that are not pie in the sky goals, but goals that will challenge you. This is important, that you are challenged to move forward. You don't want a goal that says, hey, guess what? I'm going to, learn how to make 3 free throws, and call that as something that's, wow, just monumental. Unless you have no arms. You know what I mean? But most people can do certain things, but you want things that will stretch you. If you're listening to Black Success Magazine, you want to, or the Black Success Magazine podcast, you are on a quest for success. Not just a little success, but dynamic success in your life. So you want to be stretched. Here's a great goal for you. Learning how to run a marathon. I'm telling you right now, I've done it. It will do things in your life like you've never imagined in life, because only a certain amount of Americans have ever challenged themselves enough to run a marathon. I know you look at the Boston Marathon or the LA Marathon or New York Marathon, and you go, oh, I saw 20, 30,000 people. Yeah, those are generally the same people that run those marathons. These are not, oh gosh, 20, 30,000 people a week decide they're going to start running marathons. Oh no, there's only a certain percentage of all the people on the planet who have ever run a marathon, and once you do it, I'm telling you right now, it will change. You will have a paradigm shift in your head. There's nothing you cannot do if you challenge yourself to do the impossible. And as a leader, I'm guaranteeing you can do it. Let's say you want to lose 50 pounds, okay? Yeah, a lot of people lose 50 pounds. Keep it off, though. A lot of people lose weight. Keep it off. Make it a lifestyle, okay? That's different, okay? Goal setting is paramount, because in order for you to be successful in life, in order for you to get to where you want to go, you have to set a goal to get there. And it's got to be something concrete, something your mind will wrap around, and you've got to have somebody who's going to hold you accountable to get to that goal. Two more. Somebody who's honest, okay? A good life coach has got to be honest with you, okay? Some people say, hey, guess what? I want to be, this, that, or the other thing in life, okay? And some of them are pretty, they're not just unattainable, they're unrealistic and probably foolhardy. And a good life coach will tell you, hey, not that I don't think you can do it, but the likelihood of you achieving what let's say a man wants to have a baby, okay? I don't care who you think you are. It's not going to happen. A good life coach is going to say, look, the reality is, okay, you know what I mean? And lastly, let's give you the last one. And I got a lot of this information from various sources, but these are very standardized ideas for a life coach. Very standardized. And if a good life coach does not possess some of these things, you're probably going to have to question this person. If your life coach is not setting a goal for you, if they're not, honest with you, if they're not a neutral person, if they're not going to hold you accountable, okay? If they're not listening to you, then you probably should just push back away from the table a little bit and go, well, maybe this is not the right person. If that person is not even in your industry, don't even talk to them, okay? If they're not doing what you do, and they've got not just experience, but they've got experience, they're experts in that field, you probably shouldn't even listen to them, okay? They're just as a novice at this as you. And the whole point of having a life coach is what? Somebody to help you get to move to the next level, okay? Somebody who's been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and they're going to help you get to the next level. Last one. Somebody who has a growth mindset. Somebody who has a growth mindset. They're not here just a quick hit thing, right? They want to help you grow. Their whole mindset is growth. Their whole mindset is moving you forward. Their whole mindset is, hey, you are here, I want to get you here. And then once you're here, I want to get you there. They're not willing to have you set there at being medium good. They want you to get good. They want you to continue to move forward. They want to push you forward. That's why some of the greatest coaches are in football. That's why some of the greatest coaches that you will ever meet are in the field of sports, because they continue to push their guys to their limits. Let me give you an example as we close here. Who do you think is the fastest person in the world? Well, nobody knows, because that person has not been found yet. We know the fastest person is right now, right? Just like we know who was when the 4-minute mile was broken, that barrier was broken, we knew who was the fastest person then to run a mile, but that didn't last like a whole month. And then somebody else broke that record. There is no limit to your possibilities and your capabilities. The only thing that limits you is you. Let me say that again. The only person that limits you is you. Not some guy walking down the street, not a society, not an institution. Nobody can put a limit on you if you put your mind to it. I've seen people who have got no arms and no legs swimming. I've seen people who have no arms, no legs, or no arms be pianists. Not just good pianists, good pianists. Okay? I've heard of people who are autistic and couldn't walk down the street and be fantastic artists and can remember things that are just mind-blowing. There's a stroke of genius in all of us. There is a capability in all of us. And we just have to find it. We just have to tap into that. And you can do it, folks. I'm so convinced that you can. I really am. And we're going to help you here at Black Success Magazine podcast. So as we end the year, I want you to begin to think of something now, okay? Because yes, it's coming. You knew it was coming. Your 2024 goals are coming. They're right around the corner. And I want you to begin thinking about them now. Don't wait till the last minute and then just go, I just write down a bunch of things you haven't thought through them. Think about 2024. Think about what you want to do and where you want to be at the end of the year. Okay, not just a goal that's going to last, like, oh, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. Okay, whatever. Anybody does. Everybody loses 20 pounds. Are you starting a business? Maybe you're going to go back to college. Maybe you're going to start. Maybe you're going to start a really cool business that, and you've had an idea to do that. Okay. Begin to think about that now, and not only that, begin to write it down. Write down the New Year's resolution. This is what I'm going to do. Because 2024, I'm telling you right now, if you start looking at it now, it's going to be a rocking year. We've gone through a lot of stuff financially, emotionally. We've gone through a lot of tragedy in America. And I think you're due for it. I really do. I know I am. I'll tell you, I've gone through some stuff over the last, since 2019, 4 years. 4 years now that I've gone through so much stuff. And now I'm feeling good. I'm feeling just fantastic. These latter years are going to be the greatest years of your life and of my life. But it's going to take us to sit down, write it down, and go for it. And we're going to do it together in 2024. Okay? Hey, this has been Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine podcast. Thank you so much for being a part of this. We're going to actually do another. We'll do another one this week. So I want you to stay tuned for that. I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet. Kind of figure that out in another hour or so. But when we do, look forward to it. But once again, begin to write down what you're going to do for 2024, because that's what we're really we're going to fold that into everything we do towards the end of the year, Christmas time, going into the new year. So don't forget about that, folks. Also, go to our website at blacksuccessmagazine.com, blacksuccessmagazine.com. Check out our magazine. I will get the podcast up there on it, and you'll be able to check out all the articles we're writing, all the new stuff, and look for us doing the magazine coming in 2024. Should be fun. So anyways, it's been Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine podcast. We'll see you again, folks. Bye-bye.